Welcome to Ninerology, Faithful in the Trenches. I'm your host, Alan, and today we're talking about Brock Purdy and why he should be considered the favorite to be next year's NFL MVP for the 2024-2025 season. And whether you're a 49er fan or not, let's just talk about Brock Purdy and what he's done. First off, a great story. Mr. Irrelevant to becoming an NFL starter after being third string and making the team. Typically, if you're drafted in the 6th, 7th, or even signed to a team after the fact, you're just trying to make it or see how far you can make it before you have to find another line of work. Brock Purdy went from Mr. Irrelevant to starting for the San Francisco 49ers. And on his very first year, he leads them to the NFC Championship, and we know what happened then. He had an injury, tearing his UCL, couldn't even throw the ball, but still finished off the game because there weren't any other alternatives with the other quarterbacks getting hurt. Now, what did he do the following year? Well, the entire offseason, he was recovering from that UCL injury. And then he had his first full season as a starter, leading the San Francisco 49ers to the Super Bowl and just coming up short from the 6th Lombardi for the 49ers. But let's not just talk about that. A lot likes to be said about the surrounding cast, which is huge. Yes, those are a huge help to Brock Purdy, but let's talk about what he did on the field. His stats, he only played in 16 games. He sat during the last game of the season, had 31 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. His completion percentage was 69.4, so just a few ticks under 70% passing. Sacks, he took 28. That's an area where he can continue to get better, being able to diagnose the defense before pre-snap, and so being able to do that. But let's talk about points per game. The 49ers were third best at 28.9 points per game. Passing yards per game, they were sixth best at 269.2. Now, again, this was his first full season as a starter. He had 8 games the year before, then he had this full season. He is going into this offseason as, again, the unquestioned starter, but also having a full offseason where he's not having to worry about, one, his first offseason trying to make the team. Second offseason, he was recovering from the UCL injury. This is the first one where he's going to be able to be the starter and actually work on those reps, continue building the rapport with the receivers, continue to diagnose and get this offense to that next level. Now, what else did he do? During this first full season, he led the NFL with 9.7 yards per pass attempt and 14.2 yards per completion. That led the entire NFL. Not just that, he tied the NFL record for most games over 130 passer rating. Over 130 passer rating. Can you believe that? He almost set the NFL record. He probably would have if he played the last game of the year. But since he tied the NFL record with 6 games over 130 passer rating. Now, whether you're a Niner fan or not, those stats aren't made up. They aren't manufactured. They aren't cherry-picked. That's who Brock Purdy is. He is a phenomenal quarterback. So many people are waiting for him to fail. But you want to know why? It's because so many scouts, so many GMs got it wrong. Because if they would have gotten it right, he would have been picked much sooner. He had the experience in college, but people are just waiting for him to fail because they don't want to admit that they got it wrong during the draft, and he should have been drafted much higher. Yes, you can knock his height, but look at his poise in the pocket. Look at his decision-making. The ability to diagnose what's happening within the first 2 seconds from snap to know exactly where to go, that's what Brock Purdy does. You don't just show up with a 3-to-1 ratio for passing touchdowns to interceptions without knowing what you're doing. You don't just show up with leading the NFL in yards per pass attempt. Many people thought he was a dink and dunk quarterback. He led the NFL with yards per pass attempt. You want to know who was the least? Patrick Mahomes. That's right. Yes, he won the Super Bowl. Yes, he has 3 of them. But look, what Brock Purdy has done in the NFL as Mr. Irrelevant has been huge. But not just that. Again, put the good story aside. He is an elite quarterback with elite play. Now, okay, that's always up for debate. How do you define elite quarterback? Let's go ahead and say for those that are arguing for argument's sake that he's not an elite quarterback yet because you need a little bit more time. I get that. I 100% get that. But to say he wasn't playing elite, you're just being naive. Because, yes, elite, to be an elite quarterback, you can say, okay, yes, you got to play at an elite level over time. That way you're proving it. It's not just a one-off. So let's give him that. Okay, he's a really good quarterback, a great quarterback, but not just elite yet. But to say he didn't play elite last year is just being naive. Again, He led the NFL in yards per pass attempt. He led the NFL and tied the NFL the record for most games with over 130 passer rating. He led his team to 2 straight NFC championships and to a Super Bowl appearance, going into overtime, almost winning that Lombardi trophy from many believe is the second best quarterback to play the game behind Tom Brady. Now, for Brock Purdy to do that without having a full offseason as a starter to work on his craft, to either be trying to make the team, to next trying to recover, I cannot wait to see what he does this year. And just look out for this. Don't be surprised if Brock Purdy is a runaway MVP. And not only will he break his own record last year, because we know that his first year as a starter, he broke the passing record for the 49ers, which was previously owned by Jeff Garcia. He broke that in his first full year. But watch him take another leap this year. Watch what he does. And I'm just going to call it out now. Brock Purdy is going to pass over 5,000 yards this year. He's going to be the passing leader in the NFL. And we're going to call it right now. Brock Purdy is going to be your 2024-2025 league MVP. You heard it here first on Ninerology. And that's all we got. So catch us next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe to catch all 49ers content. And we'll catch you next time.